Hey guys, what's up? So we figured it was about time to do a little bit of a update setup tour because we're pretty set in what we're doing right now. There's nothing else that we could think of immediately that we need to add that is a necessity. Just, more things to make things easier or more accessible. But right now we have a pretty solid setup. But we're also going to walk through the setup we had before this to give you guys a basis of like where we started versus where we are now over a year into streaming, and how you can kind of make things work for whatever type of streaming you're planning on doing. So I guess the first thing we'll talk about is the PCs. We have both NZXT PCs sitting right on our side below where our mouse is.
Where your mouse
where
is.
my mouse is, your keyboard.
So both our PCs are NZXT BLD PCs. They're custom-built PCs that we decided all the parts and picked different things depending on what our criteria was. For us, it was as much as we could possibly put into it for as much power as we could get. Each of these PCs have the following. Ryzen 9 3900X 12-core processors, 32 gigs of 3200 megahertz RAM. I believe it is G-Skill, it's the RGB G-Skill one that's really popular at the moment. And then Atoms has a GTX 3060, and mine has a GTX 3070.
If you guys ever need help with PCs or builds or stuff, hit one of us up in our Discord. We'll put that link down below, along with the link to the NZXT BLD custom PC setup builds, so you guys can take a look at that if that feels like that's what's right for you. We've only had them a couple of weeks, but they're amazing. We haven't managed to do anything that they can't handle yet. Playing games on it is super buttery smooth.
Playing really high resolution games and streaming it at the same time, everything still works great.
Yeah,
so
you can play COD, Warzone,
yeah.
You can play Apex, all on full settings, and it runs perfectly fine.
We'll have a full description of what our builds are, every part between the motherboard and the PSU and everything you could possibly think of. That'll be down in the description as well, along with buy links to just about everything we'll talk about in this video, so we don't have to say it a million times.
We're going to talk about our monitors here.
So we've got 3 monitors on this setup right now. 2 of them are connected to my computer, which is the streaming computer, and 1 of them is connected to Adam's. So the 2 smaller monitors that we have on here, they're both Asus VG245s. They're 74 hertz monitor. They're a little older. They're a little more expensive for all the more they are. But they're nice. They've got built-in speakers for like Adam. If he doesn't want to wear his headphones all the time, he can use them. I had originally bought 1 for my old computer, and then when we upgraded to the 2 PC setup, we wanted to have like kind of symmetry, if you will, on both sides. So we bought another one of those, and they're really nice. They're 1080p, they're nothing crazy, they're more in the affordable range anymore with how crazy some monitors can get.
And they're both on 2 mobile stands, so you can twist, turn,
do all
raise,
sorts
lower.
Of,
it just helps
nonsense with them.
Helps make it more convenient for
especially in our setup. Say we want to play a game where we have to compete against each other, we can pull them away and point them away from the other person and still have fun and not like, oh, someone's screen peeking, someone, that sort of stuff.
So it just gives more of versatility with what you can do instead of being just a set, fixed stand that you really can't move around that much. There's no specific brand that's better than others. We just grabbed 2 off Amazon. We'll put a link for something like that down below that are a good reviewed company.
The large one here in the center, this is actually my living room television that I was using as a second monitor for quite a while. It's a 4K, I think it's a 55-inch Samsung TV. It's a pretty generic model. Go look for them. They're all over the place. You can get any sort of brand you want. If you want to do something like we have.
Totally unnecessary.
This was when we were playing PlayStation all the time. It made sense. Now,
it still makes sense just for the fact that we're 2 people, so we can put chat really big on this screen and both see what's going on here, but we're not playing on this anymore.
No.
We much suggest and prefer playing on the smaller monitors. I know it doesn't seem like it makes sense, but you don't want to have to move your head when you're playing FPS games or any kind of game. If you're just playing some fun games or something
Play
like
Ultimate Chicken Horse.
yeah,
or
then you can play it on the TV. But if you're trying to play stuff like COD or Apex or Fortnite, you don't want to have to move your head around to see people. So for keyboards, I use the Corsair K70. It's a really nice keyboard. I've had it for a couple years now. I actually bought it before we got these PCs. I was using it for my PlayStation when I was streaming from that, you know, just to practice Warzone, you know, try to get in the feel of keyboard and mouse, because I always had a feeling I wanted to, you know, move up and go to PC eventually. It's a really nice keyboard. It's lasted through the years of pretty heavy use. I've never had any problems with it. It's definitely on the higher pricey end. You don't need a K70, but I really enjoy using it. The armrest on it is really nice. The keys are, you know, a medium clack, but it's not too much for a stream. But it's a really nice keyboard. It's done me really well. It's even managed to take a spill, and it was okay after we just kind of let it dry out. But that's a pro streamer tip. Don't leave drinks on your desk. Even if you feel like you're one of those people who aren't clumsy, you still will be sometimes on accident. Or your cat might knock it into your keyboard as well. That could be a thing that could happen. For mouse, I also use Corsair. It's the Corsair Glaive. It has detachable and attachable thumb pads. I use a little bit of a bigger one because I kind of like resting my thumb so it's not dragging on anything when I'm moving my hand across. A really good mouse. I'm a fan of it. Again, it's on the higher side of mice. You don't need this one. There are cheaper ones that are more heavily recommended by pro gamers, but this is just the one I personally use. Got the side buttons on it. Scroll wheel is pretty nice. You can do adjustable DPI, and it glides really well over the screen, and I've enjoyed using it. But the link for both of these will be down in the description below, so you guys can check that out if it's what you want to look at.
Personally, I use a Hermes P2 keyboard. It's a blue switch keyboard, which means it's really clacky, but that's what I personally like. I like that hard tactile confirmation that you've clicked the key or not clicked the key. I have two here because this is the P1 and this is the P2, the successor to the first one. This one is connected to my old PC that we used to stream from in case for any reason I need to grab a file from that old computer or anything like that. I don't have two mice, but that is mostly because I use a program called TeamViewer to access the old PC from the same screen using the same mouse, but I still need to use the other keyboard. That's the only bad part about it, but that's why I have two. So I use the Logitech G602. It's a wireless mouse. The only bad thing about it that I don't really like, and I'll put this up front, is that it uses just standard AA batteries. I wish it had an internal rechargeable battery, but that's not a huge issue. If you get like off Amazon, you can get rechargeable ones for really cheap. I just never have had the ambition to just go buy them because I always buy a big pack of AA's, like a 20 pack at a time. I really like it. It's got a lot of the side buttons. If anyone's really hardcore into gaming, you'll know you want thumb buttons. Some people only want one, only want two. I have this one, it's got 6. I use all of them, especially in games like Apex or maybe even Call of Duty. Those sorts of games, I use every single one of them on the thumb because I don't like to walk away with my keyboard hand away from, the traditional WASD and that sort of stuff. So I use all of them. It's really nice. It's got on-the-fly DPI change. That's another really nice feature. Yeah, it's really nice. It's light. It's not bulky and super heavy, but it's also not super lightweight. So there is some mass, and you can feel it when you move around. So in the way of headphones, I use wireless headphones. I use Logitech G935s. They're nice, leather cushions. They're nice and big. I've always used Logitech headphones. That's just been my preference. I had a pair of 635s before that you used for quite a long time until we got the new PCs. They're nice, they're wireless. I prefer being able to still hear stuff and get up and walk away, especially when Al is around. So that's just what I prefer.
I use the Audio-Technica headphones. They're nice because they're really adjustable. You can leave them like this if you want to. You put them up, you can still get some sound. But if you're wearing them, you do want to be careful if you have a bit of a bigger head like I do. They do tend to have a little bit too much pressure after a while, but the audio quality of them is just pretty unbeatable in terms of like these are like studio headphones. They're a lot on the pricey side, but what's nice about these, and a big reason why I got these personally, is if something were to happen to this, which is super easy. We all know people who have gotten that fray where the wires start poking out, or in my case, I actually bent this in a controller at one point. You can replace it and get just a replacement aux cord for these type of headphones specifically, and it locks in, so this part will never unplug. You have to actually twist and then pull it out in order to disconnect the wire, so it's something really nice. It's a nice touch. If you're a ragey gamer, you might want to get something like this, so if you ever pull too hard,
at least
or something
with a detachable cord,
yeah, just like, something like that, or wireless, you know. It's nice. You know, both really good headsets. There are a lot of options for headsets. Again, it's a personal preference. This is just what we use if you're ever curious. You know,
so we both use Quadcast Hyperx mics. This is the newer model, this is the S, and this is the original. We both really like them. They're generic USB plug-in. You don't need all the extra nonsense for like an XLR mic or anything like that. They're a little more expensive. There's definitely way cheaper options, and I would suggest someone get those cheaper options, but we really like these. We can do the, you know, the red and the blue, our whole thing. They're nice. They've got the gain adjustment right on them, and they can mute at the tap of your finger, and then you wouldn't have audio or whatever. And it's very clear whether or not your mic's hot. So we use these, and they're really nice. Generic boom arms off Amazon. You can get anything. Don't get the spring ones.
Yeah, that's the only thing you want to avoid. These are like air compressed. There's no spring visible on these, because the spring ones you can really hear.
If you touch them, they'll do the kind of thing.
That type of sound. You don't want to have that, so just having something like this. Silent. The only thing that's making noise is I'm pulling on the desk, but I'm never going to be doing this during stream.
It's minor adjustments. It's pull it in close for a funny gag, or push it away to get a little quieter, that sort of stuff. Even if you bump these, like, you're not going to hear this through the mic. You're not going to hear any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so we'll put links to that down below as well.
So we use Philips Hue play lights as our like accent lights that we use in our streams. They're these big light bar things that are actually meant to go behind your TV and interact with like the colors that are appearing on your TV while you watch a movie or something like that. But we use them as this, the accent light. And through a program called Lumia, we can actually have it interact when people, sub, or when they send bits, or do donations or raids or anything like that. So when a notification goes off, they flash at us and they can do different things. So this is our follow one, and our subscription one is it flashes our colors. So it's really nice. It's cool. You can get these Lumia to interact with a variety of different brands. You don't have to go with Philips Hue. You can have them work with like your Nano Leafs or any sort of Lumix, I think is another one. There's tons of brands out there of smart lights. If it can connect to your cell phone, it's probably able to connect and interact with your stream. It's super easy to set up. It's really nice.
We also have these like cheapy floodlights that we use for accent lights in the background of our stream. You can see them right here when we're actually live streaming. Right now we have them just facing towards us for a little background lighting for this video. But they're just cheap little, floodlights you could get from Amazon that are super nice. They're, high wattage enough that it shows up. Obviously you can see it going off my face and off the wall back there. Just put some extra color there, and helps really make things pop. Totally unnecessary, again, just something we use.
So we used 2 stage lights, or photography lights, if you will. They're nice. We use them to kind of throw light up, not directly at us, but throw it up, and gives us a nice like brightness to us, but we can still dim everything down if we want to. They're really nice and helpful. Definitely not necessary. You can definitely go with like a ring light, or even a lamp with some tissue paper taped over it to kind of give you a diffusion on your face. Definitely unnecessary, but I got them super cheap on Amazon for like $30 on sale, so I just kind of jumped on it.
Yeah, they were cheap. They're nice to throw light at us without filling the entire room with these roof lights, because we usually have those off to give the background of the stream a more chill vibe, so not everything is so in your face lit. So next up are our webcams.
They're both Logitech webcams. This one is a 1080p Pro, and that one over there is a C922. They're both really nice. They're both 1080p, 60 FPS webcams. They're really good for what we tend to use them for. You know, you don't have to go out and buy super high quality, actual mirrorless cameras or anything like that. You can get away with these because most of the time your stream's going to be downgraded to 720 anyway, so
yeah, and
they're really nice.
Yeah, and when you really think about it in terms of face cams, if you're doing gaming specifically on Twitch, which is the vast majority of Twitch is popular games. If you think about it, the face cam is only ever going to take up like maybe 1/10, 1/5 of your screen, depending on how big you want your face on the camera. So it's never going to be super important. I mean, even in the industry, you worry about audio first, then lighting, then camera, because if your lighting is really good, it can make the camera look better or more advanced than it actually is, or it can make it look worse. That's another thing you really just got to play around with. There's lots of videos on YouTube on how to look at that. Harris Heller has a lot of good lighting videos. We'll put some of those down in the description as well. But yeah, Logitech has always been a go-to brand for what we've used. It's a pretty basic camera that a lot of people use. It's nothing super high-tech, but it works really well. And they're both on these two single pole stands, or single pole boom arms, you could call them. They're not exactly for mics though, they're for lightweight things like webcams or like a key light or something like that. Those were kind of hard to find on Amazon because we didn't want to use just another one of these and have like two metal poles coming through. We wanted to keep it as simple as we possibly could. These end up working really, really well. They have the interlocking teeth, so you don't have to worry about it ever drooping or starting to slide on you. You have to physically untwist it and
pull them apart a little bit, turn them, lock them, and then
tighten it again. So it's never going to move on you. You just set it up to how you like it, and it's set. If you need something more adjustable, I would not suggest these at all.
I would suggest something more along this line.
Yeah, more along that line.
This is what we used for a very long time. It's got a really stiff, infinitely adjustable sort of arm to it. It's really stiff. Like, it's going to take a lot of weight and a lot of pressure. You're going to have to hang like 20 pounds, 25 pounds for it to start to droop. Really nice clamp, so you can just clamp it onto stuff, and it's good to go. We use these on our booms for a long time. We actually clamped them just like that, and that's how we held our cameras. But yeah, they're nice. They're by, who is this by? Smart Tree.
Super cheap, but really good quality. Yeah, we'll put links for those as well. And like Jeremy said, like if you put it in a position, it's gonna stay. It's something that'll eventually start. Like I have to put a decent bit of pressure on it for that to start moving. So even if you had a bigger, more professional camera, it would probably hold it pretty well. Next is probably our Elgato Stream Deck. We got the XL version of it just because we wanted to do the most with it that we possibly could, never have to ever worry about upgrading. We know we have the most buttons available. Definitely not necessary for smaller streamers or anything crazy like that. I know a lot of big streamers don't even have the full-size XL one, so it's nothing you have to worry about. If it's a little more on the pricey side for what you're trying to do, but you still want the convenience of having one, they make a mini version of it.
Yes. It's only a 6-button version. This one is, I believe, a 32-button version. Definitely all around not necessary. It's definitely just a quality of life kind of thing when you're streaming and you want to do quick, like almost live edits. It's super nice. We have it set to do like our faces individually, zooms on our faces. It can control our lights. It can control just about anything, our music that's in the background, that sort of stuff. Instead of us like, oh, I gotta stop playing a game and click, Alt tab out and click and do a bunch of stuff. It's really It's definitely not necessary, but it's nice to have.
Yeah, and what's nice is even if you only have the 6-button version,
you can still do everything.
Yeah, you can still do everything. It'll take you to different menus if you click on different things. You can pull up web pages like that. You can pull up, different menus like it is right here. You can click on different buttons and it'll pull up different set menus that you have.
It can even do, stuff. It can send messages to your chat live for you, so it can do commands. It can do like your YouTube and your Discord. It can do, just about anything you really want it to do. With a couple caveats, but it's super helpful, super
nice
handy
product
to have.
For chairs, we both have GT racing chairs. They're just some pretty generic chairs. You can get them off Amazon. They're not too pricey on the side of gaming chairs, but we were lucky enough that Chat actually got these for us because our old office chairs were falling apart. We literally had taped together. There's a whole video on that if you want to see our monotonous time trying to put these chairs together, but we're very thankful, and these are, just really good chairs. They're good enough for us. That just is another personal preference thing. You can have literally a wooden chair or stool if you really wanted to. You can make anything work. It's just more of a comfort or personal preference thing.
So, Adam and I had been streaming together for a few months, and we used to use my old desk. Hey, editor Adam, put a picture of the old-ass desk somewhere on screen. So, Adam and I were cluttered the whole time we tried to use that. We had 2 keyboards on it for a long time that it didn't work. That's a one-person desk, and we were trying to make it work for 2 people. So I got a hold of one of my woodworker friends from high school, Eddie, and I asked him if he would be interested in making a big-ass desk. And he did. And this is our custom. It's a 6.5 foot long desk. It's really awesome. It's got spaces for both our computers. It's got wiring, channeling underneath, so it can hold all of our wire management, and we're good. Nothing super hanging down all over the place. Like, there's obviously, with every setup, there's going to be a little bit of that, but it keeps things way more contained and way more together. Really nice. It's a maple and poplar desk.
It even has our logo resin poured in the center of it, as you guys can see. It was a really nice touch. Definitely didn't need to be done, but Eddie insisted that he did something cool like that. He put his logo on it as well for Sun Bear Woodworking, and it just overall is a super helpful desk. We never have to worry about accidentally playing footsie. It's only strictly on purpose now, and it never happens just, on the off chance that I have a foot spasm or something like that. But yeah, this desk is extremely helpful, super sturdy. It's got venting in the back and everything you could ask for, super custom. But, again, that's another thing you personal preference will look into for what you want to use or what works for you. A lot of people are just single streamers. We're the weird objection to that, but we're making it work for 2 people. You don't have to have a 6.5 foot desk if you don't want to as a single streamer. And you don't have to use a TV to fit also on the desk, so it's just whatever.
A lot of it's unnecessary.
Yeah,
we'll just lay that out right here.
Yeah. We're unnecessary because we're 2 people. Obviously, you don't need 3 PCs. You could if you have that money and really want to go for it, but So thank you guys so much for watching this video on our setup tour. Hopefully this can help you out and help point you in some of the right directions or similar directions, so you guys have more of an idea of what we use. If you're looking to just start up a stream yourself and you want some cheaper, more individualized options, you can always hit us up in our Discord, the Artizor Army. Jeremy's always willing to help. I'm willing to help with the stuff I know. I'm not as much on the tech side, but I know a lot about, like cameras and lighting and stuff like that, and I can always help you out as well. If you guys want more in-depth looks at anything specific, be sure to leave it down in the comments below, and we can make YouTube videos on the more in-depth details of every product, or if you want to know about
how to set up your lights.
Yeah, or any kind of software we use when we stream, or to mess around with Lumia, anything like that, leave it down in the comments below, or hit us up on Discord. Again, we're always open to trying to help people as much as we can, so we all can be streamers together. But yeah, that's it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.